Hello everyone. In this video, let's discuss about looping statements. So in C language, we have three looping statements. One is for, another one is while, another one is do while. So these three are the looping statements we have it in C language. Here, for and while, we call it as entry controlled loop. Whereas do while, we call it as exit controlled loop. Because before entering into the loop, we'll check the condition. If the condition is true, only then it will enter into the body of the loop. That is why we call for loop and while loop as entry controlled loop. Whereas in do while loop, once we are exiting the loop, at that point of time, we will be checking the condition, which means the loop will be executed once and then we'll check the condition. That is why this is called as exit controlled loop. Now let's discuss the loop one by one. First, let's go for loop. Let me start the program with pre-processed type #include stdio.h. Okay. The execution of the program always starts from the main function. I'll take a variable n. I'll initialize the value as 5. So here, first let's discuss about the syntax of the for loop. For, okay, this is a keyword. So inside this parenthesis, we have to give three conditions. Okay. What are the three conditions we'll discuss? So inside the for loop, first one we have to initialize. Initialization. Okay. After initializing the value, we have to check the condition that we call it as test condition. Then we have to give increment or decrement. So this is the syntax of for loop. So here, let's assume I'm going to print the value from 1 to 5. Let's assume like that. So here, first I have to initialize. So what is the starting value? I'm going to give the value as int I is equal to 1. Initialization. I have initialized the value. Now test condition. What is the test condition? I'm going to iterate the value from 1 to 5 and I'm going to print the value from 1 to 5. So n value I have taken. So condition I'm going to give, that is I less than or equal to n. So here condition less than n, which means last value will not be considered. Here when I give less than or equal to n, the last n value will be considered. Now here I have to give either decrement or increment. So here I am starting from lowest value to highest value. I have to increment the value. So I'll give I plus plus. So this is the syntax of for loop. First initialization, condition and increment or decrement. Now let's print the value of I. Printf %d comma I, and then I'll keep return 0 and execute. So here, see, I've got the output value as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because here I value equal to 1. Check the condition, 1 less than or equal to 5. Yes, condition is true. If the condition is true, I'll go inside the for loop and then I'll print the value as 1. Then I'll go for next iteration. When I give I value as 2, I value will be incremented. Then I'll go to the next iteration. I value becomes 2. 2 less than or equal to 5. Yes, condition is true. If the condition is true, I'll go inside and I'll print the value of I as 2. Then the value of I will be incremented by 1, which becomes 3. When I give I plus plus, the meaning is I equal to I plus 1. That is why the value is getting incremented by 1. Then 3 less than or equal to 5. Yes, condition is true. I'll go inside. I'll print the value of I as 3. Then I'll go for the next I value. I value becomes 4. 4 less than or equal to 5. Yes, condition is true. I'll go inside. I'll print my I value as 4. Then I'll go for the next iteration. I value becomes 5. 5 less than or equal to 5. Yes, condition is true. I'll go inside. I'll print the value of I as 5. Then I'll go for the next iteration. I value becomes 6. 6 less than or equal to 5. Condition is false. I'll come out of the looping body. That is why I've got the output as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here I have not given any space. So it has printed without space in the output value. This is the syntax of the for loop and this is the execution of the for loop. So here it doesn't mean that I have to give only I plus plus. Instead I can give I equal to I plus 2. Here this increment value can be any value. Whatever be the value you are giving, that will be printed. So here if I give like this and if I execute the code, I'll get the output value as 1, 3 and 5. Because each and every time the value of I is incremented by twice. So 1, 3 and 5 will be executed. On the next I value will be incremented to 7. 7 less than or equal to 5, condition is false. So I'll come out of the looping body. So here, why do we call for loop as entry controlled loop in the sense? See, before entering into the body of the loop, it will check the condition. Once if the condition is true, only then I'll enter into the body of the loop. That is why we call for loop as entry controlled loop. Okay. Now let's discuss how to print the values in the reverse order. So I'll include stdio.h, preprocessor directive. The execution of the program always starts from the main function. Fine. I'll declare a variable called n. I'll get the input value from the user. Scanf %d, comma, ampersand n. Now I want to print values in the reverse order. So let's assume the input value of n is 5. So I want to print 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So as usual, we'll start with the for loop. First I'll initialize the value. So what is the value of I? I'll initialize the n value. So here I'm starting from the largest number and I'm going to the smallest number. So I'll give a condition saying that I greater than or equal to 1. So up to 1 I have to iterate. Here I have to decrement the value because I'm printing from the largest number to the smallest number. So I'll give printf %d, comma I. I'll print my I value. So I'll print all the values separated by space. Then finally I'll give return 0. Let me run the code now. I'll give the input value as 5. See, I have got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see how it's getting executed. So initially the value of I is 5. 5 greater than or equal to 1. Yes, condition is true. I'll go inside the for loop. I'll print my I value. I value is 5 and then I'll give a space. Then I'll go to the decrement value. I value becomes 4. 4 greater than or equal to 1. Yes, condition is true. I'll go inside. I'll print my I value as 4 and then I'll give a space because %d represents integer. I'll print an integer value and then I'll give a space. Then I'll go to the next iteration. I value becomes 3. 3 greater than or equal to 1. Yes, condition is true. I'll go inside. I'll print my I value as 3 and then I'll give a space. Then I'll go to the next iteration. I value becomes 2. 2 greater than or equal to 1. Yes, condition is true. I'll go inside. I'll print my I value as 2. Then I'll go to next iteration. I value becomes 1. 1 greater than or equal to 1. Yes, condition is true. I'll go inside. I'll print my I value as 1. Then I value becomes 0 because we are decrementing the value by 1, right? 0 greater than or equal to 1. Condition becomes false. I'll come out of the for loop. This is the logic of printing the values in the reverse order. And we know that this for loop is called an entry controlled loop because when we are entering the loop, we'll be checking the condition. If the condition is true, it will allow us to go for the execution. Else, it will not allow us to enter into the looping body at all. So that is why we are calling this loop as an entry controlled loop. Now let's discuss about the while loop. Okay. So while loop is also called as an entry controlled loop. So we'll discuss that now. First I'll include the header file stdio.h. Then the execution of the program always starts from the main function. So I'll declare a variable n. I'm going to print the value from 1 to n. So I'll get the n value from the user. Scanf %d, comma, ampersand n. So I'm getting the input value from the user. Now I have to print value from 1 to n. So when I go for while loop, I have to give the condition alone. Here we cannot initialize. So the initialization will be done outside the while loop only. So I'll take the variable I. I'll start the value with 1 because I want to print from 1. So I'll give the condition now. I less than or equal to n. So the while loop executes until this condition becomes false. So here we call while loop is also an entry controlled loop because it first checks the condition. If the condition is true, it will allow us to go inside the body of the loop. If the condition is false, we cannot go inside the body at all. So that is why we are calling this as an entry controlled loop. So if the condition is true, I'll print my I value. So printf %d, I'll give a space, comma, I. So here let's assume the input value n is 5. Okay, I value equal to 1. 1 less than or equal to 5. Condition is true. I'll go inside. After going inside, I'll print my I value. I value is 1. 1 will be printed. Then I'll go to the next iteration. I value is still 1 because I have not incremented, I have not decremented, nothing I have done. So this will become an infinite loop because 1 less than or equal to 5 condition true, I'll print my I value as 1. Then I'll go next iteration, I value becomes 1. So it will be keep on getting iterated. So I'll increment my I value. So I value will be incremented by 1. So now I value becomes 2. 2 less than or equal to 5 condition is true. I'll go inside, I'll print my I value as 2. After printing my I value, I'll go for my increment. I value is incremented by 1 which becomes 3. 3 less than or equal to 5 condition is true. I'll go inside, I'll print my I value as 3. Then go to the next side, increment, I value becomes 4. 4 less than or equal to 5, yes condition is true. I'll go inside, I'll print my I value as 4. Then I'll increment my I value by 1 which becomes 5. Then I'll go to next iteration, 5 less than or equal to 5, condition is true. So I'll go inside, I'll print my I value as 5. I'll increment my I value by 1 which becomes 6. 6 less than or equal to 5, condition is false. I'll come out of it. Now I'll give return 0. Fine. Let me run the code now. I'll give my n value as 5. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fine. Now we'll feel that there is no difference between for loop and while loop, right? Then why we have two different types of loops? Actually, when we know the number of iterations, we have to go with for loop. When we don't know the number of iterations, we'll go with while loop. For example, I am not sure how many iterations is going to happen, but until a certain condition is becoming a false, I'll repeat the loop. So let's take my n value as any number. I don't know how many iterations is going to happen, but until the n value becomes 0, I have to iterate the loop. When we are writing a program in these scenarios, we will be going with while loop. So why we are saying when I know the number of iterations, I'll go with for loop in the sense, when I give my n value as some number, I'm starting from some number and I'm iterating till n. So n can be incremented by 1 or n can be incremented by 2 or n can be incremented by 3 or power values, anything it can be. But there we can get to know what is the number of iterations is going to happen. Maximum number of iterations. But when we are giving while loop, we are not sure how many iterations is going to happen, but until certain condition is becoming false, I'll be iterating the loop. That is the difference between for loop and while loop. This is one of the most interview questions saying that what is the difference between for loop and while loop. So when I say, when I know the number of iterations, I'll go for loop. When I'm not sure about the number of iterations, I'll go for while loop. Here you have to remember one more thing, both are entry controlled loop. Why we are calling them as entry controlled loop? Because before entering into the loop, I'll be checking the condition. If the condition is true, I'll go inside the body of the loop. If the condition is not true, I'll not go inside the body of the loop at all. This is the difference between for loop and while loop. Now I'll take a program to find sum of the digits. Okay, so I'll take the input value as 123. Now I want to find 1 plus 2 plus 3. I need to find sum of all the digits. I'll get my output value as 6. Here I'm not sure how many iterations is going to happen, but I'm going to extract one digit. When the input value n becomes 0, I should stop the iteration. This is what we have to know. So I'll give the condition saying that n not equal to 0. Here I'm not sure how many iterations is going to happen, but I'm going to iterate my loop until the n value becomes 0. It can be 123 times or more than this, or it can be anything. So I'm giving a condition. Until the condition is getting satisfied, I'll be iterating the loop. So to get the sum of the digits, first I have to extract the last digit. From 123, I have to extract the last digit. So for that, I'll be using modulo operation. So n modulus 10. So let's assume the input value n is 123. So I'll go inside the loop because 123 is not equal to 0. First I'll be extracting the digit. So 123 modulus 10, the value becomes 3. That will be stored in the variable called REM. Now I have to add it with some value, but I have to get back the same value. So I'll initialize a variable called the sum with the value called 0. So I have to find sum of the digits. So sum equal to sum plus remainder. So sum value is 0, remainder value is 3. I'll get the value called 3. That will be stored in the variable called sum. Because the next digit what I'm going to get, that should be added with the result. That is why I'll be storing back to the same variable called sum. Now I'll give n equal to n divided by 10. So n value is 123 divided by 10, it becomes 12. I'll go to the next iteration. N value becomes 12. 12 not equal to 0. Yes, condition is true. I'll go inside. Remainder equal to 12 modulus 10. The value is 2. I'll go here. Sum equal to sum plus remainder. Sum value is 3. Remainder value is 2. 3 plus 2, the value is 5. I'll go inside. 12 divided by 10, the value becomes 1. I'll go to next iteration, n value becomes 1. 1 not equal to 0, yes, condition is true. I'll go inside, remainder equal to n modulus 10. N value is 1, modulus 10, the remainder value is still 1. Sum equal to sum plus remainder. Sum value is 5 plus 1, the value is 6. So n equal to n divided by 10. N value is 1 divided by 10, it becomes 0. Check the loop again. 0 not equal to 0, condition becomes false. So here condition becomes false. So I'll come out of the while loop. Now I'll print the sum value, percentage d, comma sum. Let me run the code now. I'll give the input value is 123. I've got 6. So this is the difference between for and while. When I don't know the number of iterations, I'll go for while loop. When I know the number of iterations, I'll go for loop. Now let's write a program to discuss about do while loop. So do while loop is called as an exit controlled loop. Why we call do while loop as an exit controlled loop in the sense? So it executes the loop once even though the condition is false. So first it will execute the loop once and then only it will check the condition of the loop. That is why we call do while loop as an exit controlled loop. So first I'll include the header file stdio.h. Fine. The execution of the program always starts from the main function. Fine. Now I'll get an integer value from the user. So scanf percentage d, comma ampersand n. So I've got the input value from the user. I want to print value from 1 to 5. Okay. So here first I'll go for the syntax of the do while loop. So this is the syntax. So here I have to give the condition. Here I have to give the condition. So first I'll execute the body of the loop once and then only I'll be checking the condition of the loop. If the condition is true, I'll go for the next iteration. If the condition is false, I'll come out of the looping statement. Fine. Now let us go for the program. I want to print the value from 1 to 5. So I'll take a variable called I. I'll give the value as 1. So I'll go inside the loop. I'll print the value of I. So print of percentage d. I'll give a space. I'll print my I value. So here I have to give the condition. The condition I'm going to give it as I less than or equal to n. If the value of I is less than or equal to n, I can execute the loop further. Else I should stop the execution. Then I'll give return 0. That's all. Let me save the code and run the code. I'll give the input value as 5. Okay. So here it is an infinite loop. The reason why it is an infinite loop, because here I have given I value as 1. I'll print 1. After printing 1, I'm checking the condition. 1, let's assume n value is 5. 1 less than or equal to 5, condition is true. I'll go further. Again it is 1. 1 less than or equal to 5, yes, true. Again I'll go. So the value of 1 will be getting printed, and each and every time when I'm checking the value of I, it is still 1. So when I'm checking the condition, it is still true always. It is not becoming false at all. That is why it is giving an infinite loop. So after printing my I value, I'll increment the value of I. Now let me execute the code. See, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's go for the step-by-step execution. So here, first the value of I is equal to 1. I'll go here, I'll print my I value as 1. Then I'll give a space. Then I value will be incremented by 1, which becomes 2. 2 less than or equal to n. Let's assume the value of n is 5. 2 less than or equal to 5. Yes, condition is true. I'll go here, I'll print the I value as 2. Then I'll go inside, the value of I will be incremented by 1, which becomes 3. 3 less than or equal to 5, condition is true. I'll go here, I'll print my I value as 3. Then I value will be incremented by 1, which becomes 4. 4 less than or equal to n, yes, condition is true. So I'll go here, I'll print my I value as 4. The value will be incremented by 1, which becomes 5. 5 less than or equal to 5, yes, condition is true. I'll print my I value as 5. Then I value will be incremented by 1, which becomes 6. Check 6 less than or equal to 5, condition is false. I'll come out of this. So this is how it executes the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we call do while loop as an exit controlled loop, because when I'm exiting the loop, I'm checking the condition. So even though if the condition is false, it executes a loop once. For example, I'll give my I value as 3 and I'll give my n value as 2. See, let's check. N value I'll give 2. See, I am giving n value as 2. It is printing only once. Because I value is 3, I'll print my I value 3. 3 less than or equal to 2, condition is false. I'll come out of it, but the loop executes once. That is why I've got the I value as 3 here. Fine. That's all.